fashion lovers, it's still right here. Welcome to our first exciting video. Today we're going to be learning how to make this adjustable hair bonnet. The measurements we'll be needing is our head circumference, length of the band, width of the band, and I'm going to be dividing my head circumference by 4, which is 24 divided by 4, which is giving us 6. Then I'm going to be adding 4 inches extra for the space I'll be needing, which is 4 plus 6, which is 10 inches. Then that's pretty much it. Then we're going to be needing our pattern paper, which we're going to be folding into 4. Fold the pattern paper into 4. Then we're going to be taking our 10 inches from the tip of our pattern paper. We'll take our 10 inches round and then we cut that out. Here I'm just blending that out with I'm just joining the broken lines with my curve ruler just to make sure that I have a straight line, a perfect semicircle. So after that, I'm going to take my scissors and just cut that out. Cut out the half circle, and if you open that up, you see that we now have a perfect circle. Next thing we're going to be doing is that we're going to fold our circle into half, and then we're going to be measuring from one side 3 inches upward, and we're going to be measuring 1 inch inward the circle. We're going to be measuring 1 inch inward, and then we're going to go in with we're going to use our straight ruler to make a little angle right there. The 3 inches varies. You can do 4 inches, you can do 2 inches, depending on the opening you want to be at the back. Then we're going to cut that out. So after cutting that out, this is the shape you're supposed to have right here, a circle with a little bit of triangle underneath it, below it. So next we're going to come in with our fabric, and we're just going to you can use 1 yard of fabric, 1.5 yard of fabric, and then our fabric is on fold, wrong side facing wrong side. Remember, wrong side facing wrong side. Then we're going to place our pattern on our fabric, leave enough space that you'll be able to take allowance of 0.5. You can do hemming allowance of 1 inch, but I'll be using hemming allowance of 0.5, and I'm just going to use my pins to pin that down so that my pattern paper doesn't keep moving when I'm trying to cut that out. So right here, I'm just marking out my 0.5 inch allowance round circumference of my circle. I'm just marking it out, and then I'm going to use my scissors. I'm going to go in with my scissors, and I'm just going to cut it out. After cutting that out, the next thing we're going to do is to cut our band. So we're going to keep this circle aside, and we're going to bring our fabric to cut our band. For our band, I'll be using length of 78 inches and width of 2 inches. So I'm just going to mark my 2 inches. I'm going to be putting my band on fold. So 2 inches on fold, that is 4 inches plus half inch hemming allowance on both sides, that's 1 inch, making it 5 inches. So I'm going to be marking 5 inches width for our band down, all the way down the length of the band. After doing that, this is our band, our 5 inches band, 5 inches wide band. Then I'm going to take my scissors and just give it a little notch on the center. I'm going to be notching the center, so that, and then I'm also going to take our circle. I'm just tracing out the mark. I'm just giving broken lines on the actual pattern, just to, as a guide, to know where my actual pattern stops. Your pattern, your fabric must be wrong side facing wrong side, meaning the side that's supposed to be facing you is going to be the right side. On each side is going to be right side, so wrong side facing wrong side. We're going to fold our circle into two and just give it a notch to on the middle to know where our middle line starts from. Next thing we're going to do right now is to take this to our machine and stitch the little triangle down there. We're going to flip it over. First of all, we're going to flip it over, and then we're just going to, now it's going to be right side facing right side, and we're going to go to our machine and just stitch the triangle there 1/2 inch, and then after doing that, just bring it out and then you notch, so to avoid bulges there. So after notching, we're going to, after notching, we're flipping it over back, and then you make sure you align your circle back, let all the notches match each other both up and down. And at this point, if your fabric is not right side facing wrong side, then you've probably made a mistake. Then the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take this to our ironing board and just press that down, and look at how flat that is right now, flat and neat. So this is what you should be having at this point. Next, we're going to thread our hand needle, and then we're just going to be using the tacking stitch to tack this round on our 0.5 inch hemming allowance. We're going to be tacking it round. Just going to go in and tack it round. Remember, your fabric must be right side, wrong side facing wrong side. Use your tacking stitch depending on how wide apart you want your the gathers on your hair bonnet to be. You're just going to tack that. Make sure you do a knot at the end to hold the tacking stitch down. And look at that, our hair bonnet is already coming together. Next, I'm going to try to get the midpoint. I'm going to try to make sure that my hair bonnet is the same length with my head circumference, which my head circumference is 24 divided by 2, that is 12. So I make sure that if my hair bonnet is folded into 2, it's giving me 12 inches. Next, I'm going to take my band, and I'm going to take my middle notched band, the part where we notched in the middle, and I'm going to align it with the notch on the hair bonnet, on the circle, the bonnet. We're going to make sure the notches align, and then we're going to pin that down. Just pin that down on your 0.5 inch hemming allowance. Just pinning that down all the way. After pinning down, we're going to take it to our machine, our sewing machine, and then we're going to just stitch that round. Here, guys, we're done stitching it round, and this is what it's looking like after stitching it 0.5. And I also went ahead to take the band to my ironing table, and I pressed down my 0.5 inch that I'm going to be sewing down to make it easier for me to just stitch it down. So you can see I've pressed down 0.5 inch on each side of the band. Then I'm just going to fold that in on the same hemming line, on the same stitch line that I used to stitch the first part of the band. I'm just going to stitch it on the same line as the second part of the band. So we take that to our machine and we stitch it down, and we are done stitching that down. Look at how neat that is. We're done stitching that down and just cutting off all the excess ropes. Check for ropes. If you notice, we're having right side facing right side now, so you can wear your bonnet on any side you want because they are both right side. Next, we're going to take our bonnet back to our machine, and then we're going to just do a top stitch on the band. Do a top stitch on the other band, and just less than 0.5 inch, very 0.25 inch, less than 0.25 inch. We're just going to take our top stitch from there, and we are done doing that. And look at the neatness that this is giving. And there, guys, our hair bonnet is done. You can sell this, you can make this to sell. This is the one that is done with silk fabric. You can see how lovely that looks. They are all sellable, marketable. You could use it for yourself, you could do this for your sisters. And this is how to put it on, just from behind, and then you just drag it to how tight you want that to be, and you're comfortable and your hair is secure all through the night.